And there's breaking news coming in. There's big relief to those who've been conned by Mehul Choksi. Properties worth over 2,500 crore rupees being monetized and returned to people. We're also being told in the breaking news coming in, people conned by Choksi begin getting their money back. And the big news coming in, over 125 crore rupees already handed over to people cheated by Choksi. Big relief to those duped by Mehul Choksi in continuation of ED's ongoing efforts for restitution of properties of Mehul Choksi. A concerted effort has been put in by the Enforcement Directorate in connection with the banks, the PNB and the ICICI Bank. Victims of the bank frauds were in these two banks, and an application for assets restitution is also be filed in the Mehul Choksi case. But the big relief that's coming in is that those who've been duped by Mehul Choksi are being now handed back their money. Let me go across to Shravan Sen, who's joining us. Shravan, give us more details.
This is part of the restitution of assets process. In fact, the Enforcement Directorate, along with PNB and ICICI Bank, has now moved a special court in Mumbai for permission to monetize the properties that were attached by the Enforcement Directorate in the course of the investigation. We are given to understand that the court has now granted permission to the Enforcement Directorate to carry out a monetization of the properties. Now, the monetization of properties worth about 2,500 crore rupees. Now, that's what we are looking at. In fact, the first process of handing over to the liquidator has already taken place. We are being told by the Enforcement Directorate that properties worth about 125 crores have already been handed over to the liquidator of Gitanjali Gems. Now, just to take our viewers through the PNB bank fraud scam in which Mehul Choksi has been charge sheeted, over 36 searches were basically carried out by the Enforcement Directorate, and thereafter properties worth about over 2,000 crore rupees was attached by the Enforcement Directorate. Now, this entire matter was upheld by the appellate authority in Mumbai, which essentially enabled the Enforcement Directorate to seize the property. Now, as part of the process under the PMLA Act, what essentially has happened is that the restitution of the assets are now taking place, with the court allowing the Enforcement Directorate and the other applicants to go ahead and monetize the properties, which would essentially mean that those who have been duped by Gitanjali Gems are in all likelihood perhaps in a position to get back their properties won and the money that was duped by Gitanjali Gems.
Absolutely, and this is a big concerted effort that's been put in now also in the Mumbai court that we've seen in the Bombay court, Shravan. This is also a move forward for all the victims who've been duped. We remember this story very clearly. We were the only channel, the first channel to get the world exclusive Mehul Choksi interview. We then did a lot of research in Antigua. We saw how the CBI had tried to nab him. It was a concerted effort by the ED and the CBI and the joint teams. Now those people who can't finally getting relief, Shravan.
Well, in fact, this comes across as a big relief for those who have been conned by Mehul Choksi as well as Nirav Modi. As far as Nirav Modi's matter is concerned, not much development has taken place with regards to returning of the assets. But this is the first big step that one is looking at, particularly the Mehul Choksi case, where Gitanjali Gems, the company that was linked to Mehul Choksi, was under the scanner of the Enforcement Directorate. One, in a fraudulent manner, they had basically raised funds, and thereafter they had diverted the funds to various other countries, particularly in Hong Kong and a few other places. But having said that, remember, there was an elaborate investigation that was done by two set of agencies, starting with the Central Bureau of Investigation and thereafter the Enforcement Directorate. Now, some details that are now coming in with regards to the property and the Enforcement Directorate's application that has been filed before the special court in Mumbai. One, they make a mention of the fact that this is in conjunction with the ICICI Bank as well as the PNB, where a concerted effort has largely been done for the restitution of the assets in the Mehul Choksi case. They say that the monetization of properties amounting to about 2,565 crore rupees attached seized by the Enforcement Directorate. So this is the total amount of properties that are likely to be monetized as the process essentially begins. The first step has already taken place with about one property worth about 125 crore rupees has already been handed over to the liquidator. Some more details now emerging with regards to the immovable properties. Now the Enforcement Directorate had carried out searches at 136 locations.
That's
I beg your
right.
pardon, it wasn't 36 but 136 locations, and valuables worth about 595 crore rupees pertaining to this group was seized by the Enforcement Directorate. So what you're looking at, a scam worth about 6,000 crore rupees. A large amount of it was actually seized by the Enforcement Directorate. Some of it, remember, has in the course of the investigation, they were unable
Yes,
to
Shravan.
seize, unable to take it forward only because, remember, these were fraudulent exchanges that had taken place.
Thank you, Shravan Sen, giving us those details. Thank you, Shravan, for giving us that perspective. Now, viewers, this is some top focus that we're going to continue tracking, a big relief for all those people who've been conned by Mehul Choksi.